The kickoff to MCU Phase 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is now out. So in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on the movie. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arjun Kakanda, and I'm a huge fan of the MCU. The MCU is my favorite franchise of all time, and I was very excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I was also very worried just because I did not end up loving Phase 4 like I wanted to. And there were quite a few projects that I was very let down by. And even the trailers for this movie, although I liked the second trailer quite a bit, I did enjoy that trailer a lot. I wasn't a fan of the first trailer, and the movie just looked like it was kind of going to be a CGI mess because of the quantum realm stuff. So I was very worried going into the movie. So in this video, I'm going to share my review of it. But before I do, let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? The opening weekend is done, so I'm assuming most people that wanted to see it saw it. In this video though, I'm going to still be spoiler free. I'm going to do a separate video talking about it with spoilers. So let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think of the movie if you have seen it? I'd love to know your thoughts. With that said, I'm going to get started talking about it. And Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was definitely a very interesting experience. And I have to say, this is the first time I walked out of an MCU movie just very extremely disappointed. I've been disappointed before. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Thor: Love and Thunder. I wasn't a huge fan of some other Marvel movies recently, and even like some of them from Phase 1, 2, and 3. But this is the first time I finished an MCU movie, finished watching it for the first time, and just straight up did not like it. Thor: Love and Thunder, I was very disappointed by that movie. If you saw my review for it, I wasn't a fan of it. But at that point, I saw the movie twice. And this is the first time I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and I did not like it at all. The thing with Thor: Love and Thunder is the first time I did enjoy some things about it. It's just after rewatching it, I noticed more flaws. But this is the first time I watched an MCU movie in my first viewing, and I just did not like it. I was so let down by this movie. Now, as far as audiences go, they've been enjoying it quite a bit. The audience score for this movie is pretty high. The critical rating is like 50% or something. So it's like half the people liked it, half the people didn't, as far as critics go. And I have to admit, I side with the half of the critics that did not like it. I was not a fan of this movie. The entire 2 hours I was sitting in that theater, I just felt bored and sometimes even cringed. I just could not deal with how disappointing this movie was. I enjoy the first two Ant-Man movies for what they are, especially the first one. I think the first one's great. The second one's okay, but this one just lost all the charm that the first two Ant-Man movies had. Because the first two Ant-Man movies, they were all small scale, they were all enjoyable for what they were, and because when you saw them, you just had a fun time. They weren't a big deal. They didn't have all the MCU stakes that you see recently, where like in every single movie, it's like the world's gonna end, someone's gonna destroy the world, or a bunch of people are gonna die or something like that. Those movies didn't have that. They were just fun palate cleansers, so I enjoyed them for what they were. I was excited to see that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is gonna be a big deal. This is gonna have huge repercussions for the MCU. I finished watching it, and I did not really feel that way. The movie did not feel like it was a big deal at all, just because when I was watching the movie, it wasn't good. It was very underwhelming, and the way the movie ended just wasn't interesting at all. The most interesting aspect of it was the post-credit scenes, and the post-credit scenes weren't even good, in my opinion. Now, even the negative reviews for this movie, one thing they've been positive about is Kang, and although I think Jonathan Majors was okay in the role, I did not really like Kang. Once I finished watching this movie, I just thought, I did not understand how they were going to make him the next Thanos level threat. Because in this movie, he was weak and he just didn't work at all. He barely got any screen time too. He doesn't even show up in the movie until like almost halfway into it. Until like 50 minutes into the movie, you don't actually see Kang. So I was very disappointed by that. The first 50 minutes, I was like, where's this going? I didn't understand anything about it on a story level. And in the second half, when it does kick in, I just don't think it works, because at that point, I already nodded off. And even the way the characters and stories executed, I just don't think worked really well. There's also a lot of inconsistencies I noticed with the characters, because the way the characters behave does not fit with how some of the stuff that happens in this movie match with the other movies that they showed up in. I think a big reason to why it felt that way is because a lot of this movie takes place in the quantum realm, and a lot of the stuff going on is just a bunch of green screen. So it's like it doesn't feel like they're actually interacting with the environment. It's just they're acting the way they're told to act, and the people that are doing the visual effects work relied very heavily on in this movie. And the problem is that the visual effects are not very good. This movie probably has the worst visual effects I have seen in any Marvel movie in probably ever, honestly. At least in the MCU. I don't know about outside the MCU. I've not seen every single one. But inside the MCU, this is probably the worst visual effects work ever. Just because it did not make me buy into the environments. And I understand that it's hard to do visual effects. And I understand that these visual effects artists have to work really hard. But in that case, don't release like 10 projects a year. Try to bring it down. That's a big thing with Marvel recently. Quantity over quality. They're putting out so much stuff that they can't put enough work into it. So because of that, it just turns out bad. Now again, I can forgive bad CGI, bad visual effects if the story is interesting, but in this case, it's not. I like the ideas of what they were doing, but the way it was executed just did not work. And like I said, Kang was just not a good villain. So because of that, I just did not feel like anything about this movie worked. And I was just disappointed for the most part, because as excited as I was for Kang to see how this guy's going to be the next big threat in the MCU, I did not feel that way after watching the movie, just because of the way they executed the character. I also think that the actress that played Cassie Lang wasn't very good. The reason I say that is because when she was acting, it just felt like someone that's just doing what they were told to do. And I guess that's what actors are supposed to do. But I didn't feel the weight of her performance. Like in Avengers Endgame, the actress that played Cassie Lang, it was a different actress with a grown-up version of her. When she was in that movie in Avengers Endgame, I thought she was great because she was only in one scene, but the performance when she sees that her dad is back, that was emotional. Here, when something's happened and this actress like does what she's supposed to do. No hate. I don't mean to hate on anyone in particular, but I just don't think she did a great job. Like just like some of the other actors, like I said, Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. It felt like because of the way they're interacting with the environment, I just don't think it worked really well. I will say though, she's great on the eyes, but like that has nothing to do with it. On a performance level, I don't think she did a great job. So I was very disappointed by that too. Now I know I'm just bagging on this movie. I want to say a couple positive things. So I'll say it. There's a couple of ideas I enjoyed. I think there's one scene with Kang that I really liked, and there's a couple of ways this ties into the MCU that I thought was not bad. But again, all that is secondary. I need the story to be good. I need you to make this a compelling story. I need you to make me interested in what's going on. And for the most part, I don't think this movie did that, because I was just bored almost the entire 2 hours. And I honestly considered walking out of the movie, but I didn't because I thought it was going to get better, and to be honest, it really didn't. So yeah, guys, I was extremely disappointed by Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I know some people really enjoyed it, and that's fine. That's their opinions. I respect that. But to me personally, I just thought it was a huge letdown. And I don't understand how any people liked it, but they did, so I respect their opinion. And if you're someone that liked it, I respect your opinion too. That's great that you liked it. I wish I did, but I did not, unfortunately. I also did not like MODOK in this movie. I thought he was just an absolute joke. And even the way he looked, the way they just stretched his face out on the body of MODOK, I thought that was really dumb. And even his backstory I thought was kind of stupid. I thought the first half of the movie just did not have any focus, and the second half, when it did kind of have focus, I don't think the story itself was executed very well, and even Kang just did not get enough screen time, so I was very disappointed by the movie. I am going to do a spoiler review where I go into some of the specifics that I did not like, and some things that probably make more sense to why I did not like it, because in this video I couldn't go into too specific stuff, so I'm going to do a separate spoiler review where I can talk about more detailed things. But yeah, I was not a fan of this movie. So for my score, I'm going to go with the 40% on this movie. This is the first time I've probably given a negative review to an MCU movie. Even Thor: Love and Thunder, I would probably go over 50% on that one, because there's a couple of things I enjoyed here and there. So I was not a fan of this movie. I really wanted to like it, but it was a huge letdown for me. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think of the movie? I'd love to know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.